We're going to learn how to simplify algebraic expressions. Simplifying expressions is a crucial skill in algebra, and it makes solving equations much easier. We'll cover the major rules step by step, so let's get started. First, let's talk about combining like terms. Like terms when we have variables raised to the same power. So for instance, we might have t added to another t, and together that would make 2t's. Or we might have, for instance, x squared added to another x squared to get a total of 2x squareds. They can be combined because they have the same index number, okay, or exponent. So for our first example, let's have a look at 3x plus 8 subtract 4x plus 3. First thing we need to do is identify which are the like terms. So those which are the same variables. So we have a 3x and a negative 4x, and we have a constant 8 and also 3. So our second step is then to combine those like terms, so add or subtract them depending on whether they're positive or negative. So for instance, the 3x will be subtract 4x to give us a total of negative 1x, and the 8 will be added to 3 to make 11. The final step for this is just to write out the simplified expression, so we'll end up with negative x plus 11. Now let's move on to when we need to multiply some terms. When multiplying, we multiply the coefficients and add the exponents of like variables. So for example, if we had 3xy times 2x squared y, we're going to first of all multiply the coefficients. So 2 times by the 3 is 6. The second step is to multiply the variables by looking at the coefficients of the like terms. So we had an x multiplied by an x squared. So really that's 1 add 2. So we have x to the power of 3, or x cubed. For our y's, it was simply y times y. So essentially that's 1 plus 1. So we end up with y squared, or y to the power of 2. Next, we just need to combine those results. So we ended up with 6x cubed y squared. So that's 6x cubed y squared. Let's look at expanding and simplifying some expressions. This involves using the distributive property of the coefficient or the multiplier in front of a bracket. So let's use the example 3g bracket g subtract 2 close bracket plus 4 bracket g plus 8 close bracket. First thing we're going to have to do is expand each of those two terms separately. So we've got 3g multiplied by g gives us 3g squared, and 3g multiplied by negative 2 gives us negative 6g. The second term, we've got 4 times by g gives us 4g, and 4 times by 8 gives us 32. Now we want to combine all those expanded terms and look for any like terms. So we've got a negative 6g and a positive 4g. Combined, they make a negative 2g. So the complete simplification of this expanded expression is 3g squared minus 2g plus 32. And there you have it. We've covered all the major rules for simplifying expressions. We've combined like terms, we've multiplied terms with indices, and we've expanded and simplified expressions. But these can also be useful when you're working with geometry, for instance, areas and perimeters that involve some algebra. Best of luck simplifying your algebra. Finally, let's look at expanding and simplifying expressions. This involves using a distributive property. So you'll have a coefficient or a multiplier on the outside of a bracket. So for example, if we had 3g bracket g subtract 2, close the bracket, added to 4 bracket g plus 8, close the brackets, we're going to treat those as separate terms. Okay, so we're going to expand the 3g bracket g minus 2 first. So we're going to multiply 3g by the expressions inside the bracket. So we end up with 3g times g is 3g squared. We have 3g times by negative 2 to get negative 6g. And for the second of our terms, we're going to have 4 times by g is 4g, and 4 times by 8 is 32. Next, we're going to combine those expanded terms. So all in all, we got 3g squared minus 6g, add 4g, plus 32. Now we're going to collect our like terms. So our like terms are the negative 6g and the positive 4g. Combined, they make a negative 2g. So our final result is 3g squared minus 2g, add 32. And there you have it. We've covered the major rules for simplifying expressions, combining the like terms, multiplying terms, and expanding and simplifying expressions. This can also be useful in simplifying areas and perimeter questions if there's algebra involved in your geometry questions. Okay, good luck with it.